Welcome everyone to, and then if you're curious about what I'm talking about, sometimes I'll throw it out here. Wolf can too. This is an affiliate link, but the Syntech docking station compatible with the Steam Deck accessory, blah, 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 blah. They do this for SEO purposes because SEO sucks and doesn't look at descriptions, whatever. So this, I thought I had one more piece to it. To be fair, it's an interesting dock. It's different. If you're looking for a dock, it's $44. It's also it's on sale, but then you can also, if you have Prime, get 5% off. So here's an option for you. I haven't tried it out myself, but it does look good and it is unique. It's rounded, which is different. So figure I'd throw it out there. Oh, and most of this list is thanks to Wolf today. She did an amazing job and did a lot of research for me today. And so I really do want to shout out and with how much help she does for the channel. So figured I'd throw that out there too. Okay. So this is going to definitely be a heavier Steam Deck channel or video today. We'll get into a little bit of other games if we have time, but it's going to be heavier on the Steam Deck. First up, well, I guess this is not Steam Deck related, so yeah. Yes, Lumkey, it is a crazy dock. I threw it's still sending the link out. It sent it to the Casimith for you. It sent it out. I don't know what it's doing. It's not letting me do anything. It's supposed to be sending it out to all the channels. It sent it out to Twitch, but nowhere else yet. So hopefully it gets sent out. If it doesn't, maybe Wolf can get it in there. I'm going to continue on with this. Leaked detail, and this is not the deck, obviously. Leaked details of Sony's new handheld gaming console introducing the Q Lite. We talked about this a little bit last week, or a lot of it. I just wanted to kind of cover a little bit more of what's going on here. Actually, let's see. Oh, this is the remote play. I was going to say that is not it, but this is, and I still not sure if this image right here is a rendering of what the device would look like, but it is supposed to be like it says right here that it's an 8-inch LCD screen in between PlayStation controllers. So a PlayStation 5 controller. So if that's the case, honestly, if you play PlayStation 5 a lot and you want something on the go, especially if this does remote away from the house, like you can remote on it's probably going to be an Android backed piece. I think that's even rumored. Most likely it's going to be Android. It's good, or at least Android-esque operating system that will allow you to stream from your PlayStation 5. And I'm not sure if it's going to be, I would assume that this is also going to be doing PlayStation, what is it? What is the PlayStation Now? PS Now? It's not a cloud-based streaming device, but rather utilizes remote play with the PlayStation 5, a feature that Sony has been actively promoting in recent weeks. The handheld console will support adaptive streaming up to 1080 and 60 frames per second, which is honestly awesome. My reoccurring constant internet connectivity for optimal performance. That's pretty obvious. I would be shocked if they don't also lean into their cloud-based streaming with the PlayStation Now. Is it PlayStation Now still, or did they rebrand it? They rebranded a bunch of stuff like within the last year. But this, if it's only for remote play, it's gonna be a little bit of a flop. Because if Sony wants to really succeed with something right here, they would go with a PlayStation Vita 2 or PSP 2. Honestly, PSP 2 kind of sounds cool. They would go with something like that, and they do it with especially if they got a processor now, custom made for AMD, it would probably be in the realms of being just as powerful as a PlayStation 4 Pro potentially. And with that, if they played their cards right, a lot of PlayStation 5 games could play on it. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. And so, yeah, I'm really curious to see if they really do stick to just the remote play side of things, because I think it's a mistake if they stick to just remote play. It's got to do that cloud gaming. It's got to do a little bit more. If it's just a remote play device, I think it's going to be a flop, personally. I think it will sell. I don't think it's going to sell that great. And I think it's honestly kind of pathetic. That's all it would be. So, but that's the rumors. That's what it sounds like it's going to be. The Q Lite is also equipped with adaptive triggers for haptic feedback, volume buttons, speakers, and audio input jack. All the essential elements of a modern handheld gaming console. I mean, an audio input jack, that is, Steam Deck has it, but it's not as common as the, yeah. Okay, that's right, Cascoder. PlayStation Plus is, so PlayStation Now is now PlayStation Plus Premium. That's right. Which is a great device, or like a great service. Like, if they have this device worked off of those two things, I think it would sell pretty well. But at the same time, you can get other devices that will play the Xbox and PlayStation. And yeah, it's just the controller. If you really want a PlayStation controller, this will be the device to get. I just don't think it's going to sell enough. I think people are going to be interested in it. I just don't think it's going to sell enough to warrant getting it as a secondary device. It looks like it's going to become targeted for holidays 2024. So it's not even going to come out this holiday season. It's coming out next year, which is, I don't know. It has plenty of time to bake, I think, idea wise, especially with the type of device that it sounds like it's going to be. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think the leaks are going to bring a lot of interesting talk and evaluating if this is worth it or not. Sometimes leaks could be very useful for companies. Then we got Capcom. Capcom removes Denuvo. I honestly have never had to pronounce it out loud. Denova. It's not Denova, that's for sure. Denova from Resident Evil Village. This is interesting because, yeah, the game almost came out 2 years ago, and they decided to remove the DRM. That essentially allows for 5 different PCs within a day machine activation limit, which isn't even that big a deal. The problem with Denuvo is that it essentially it can slow down the PC. Some people say 5%, whatever, like not the PC, but like you reduce your performance by potentially 5%. This is a thing where people are adamant they will not buy games until this is removed from them. I'm not one of those guys, obviously. I think it's silly. I do think that they need to stop doing certain things like this. But if that's the thing that's breaking the game and I'm complaining, then yeah, sure, let's complain to them and all that. But yeah. Lomkey, I don't mind Denuvo. Mother rat. Well, thank you. Denuvo. I'm not Denuvo. I'm not going to pronounce that anymore. I'm done. My brain's broken. Okay, so yeah. Hey, I didn't say I was a pronouncing king on here. So yeah, this technology, this is very, I don't necessarily care. I obviously would prefer them not to use this because it doesn't even do a great job. It's usually cracked fairly soon. Okay, well, you can yeah, screw you. Okay, sorry, looking at chat. So bundling PC releases with Denuvo. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to pronounce it anymore. Seems like a standard practice for Capcom big games with Resident Evil. So I'm curious, since they released it from this one, if they're going to release it from other games and if that will help. Honestly, Wolf, just ban that person from chat. It's just distracting. So I'm really curious because I think the newest Resident Evil, didn't it come out with it? And then does the old ones have it? It's just it's a weird one. I do think its days are numbered, the DRM. I think DRM is useful. Steam already has DRM built into it. Other platforms have DRM, there's already stuff. I just don't get using a third party. Yeah, like this, remove third party. And even yeah, it was in the change log or like the new changes as in the update, them removing it, which was interesting. Um, I do think I do think it has a really bad look. I think higher ups want to be as safe as possible with DRM, so they keep on injecting it. Yeah, no, Fumbutter, you're good to go. You're good. It's someone else. Um, so, and it threw me off. So I'm curious how much damage they've done, their company, like the DRM company, how much damage they've received from the past few years because it's been consistently worse and worse PR. And with this type of company, bad PR is not always good PR. And eventually, higher ups at these companies, the executives at big game companies, will stop using it if it does hurt their bottom line enough. I'm not really. I don't care about boycotts too much. Typically, it has to be pretty bad boycott. Like if the game's bad, I'm not gonna buy it. Like there's been many Blizzard games lately, like remakes and stuff, where I'm like, I'm not gonna buy this. It doesn't play well. You guys did a really bad job. I'm not like I wanted to buy it. I had my money ready. It doesn't take much. And so similar things, if people can't play their games well enough, especially people that have mid to low end computers, Steam Deck, etc., and your DRM's affecting the performance just enough, you're losing sales. You're going to lose out. They're going to get refunds because within a 2 hour window, you can get a refund on Steam. So if you buy a game, doesn't work because the DRM doesn't just it hits the performance enough, done. Yeah, Castcoder, you got it right there. That they're actually doing great because they managed to make it harder and harder to crack, but they're taxing your CPU and GPU to accomplish it. That's not doing great. Um, I will say that it's very bad to keep on hitting your performance more and more. That's not doing. That's just if they wanted to, they could max out your whole CPU GPU, not allow the game to run at all, and improve their encryption. But that's not going to help anything. The problem is that companies need to start doing some like hit meet in the middle ground. Do enough DRM to make it so it's not easy to just download and play, and still go after sites. Like honestly, like pirating, it's not legal. They might have to go after sites and shut them down. I don't think people like that idea, but it, especially smaller games get affected by piracy still. Not that much though, and then not enough to worry about it. That's why I'm saying like meet in the middle. A little bit of DRM, and then that's it. People pirate it, they're going to pirate it. Maybe they'll eventually buy it. You just can't worry about everything, and maybe get some reports because I know some smaller indie games. Like I was reading a report the other day, someone released a game and they only sold a couple of copies. One of those copies was to, um, it looked like it was to a Chinese purchaser who then potentially that was like it's assumed that they went and leaked it out, and so there had been a couple of people or a bunch of people playing the game, but it didn't even come close to how many cells the person had on Steam. So, and this is just an indie one person team, like that's damaging. If you think you need to pirate a game because you have to play it and you have like 100 games in your library, then come just play your 100 games and just don't pirate the game. It's a little demotivating. If you don't have the money to play something and you might buy it later on, then I get it. End of piracy. Let's see what some people have to say. Um, Sometimes I question these companies with DRM. Yeah, I mean, once you get to a big enough level of a company, you start to care a little less, and until it starts hitting your bottom line, or you start hitting enough, hearing enough, it hits you enough, they don't care. They probably even have deals, or they know each other. Sometimes these companies know each other, or they know the person over the DRM company, and so they'll do these deals. Yeah, So at the end of the day, I really just I don't want extreme levels of DRM. It needs to be removed. But some level of DRM needs to be in there, and then I also think there needs to be some responsibility on gamers, honestly, to not pirate that what they don't have to. It's ridiculous. Because it's just, especially as smaller companies, it hurts them. I remember the Steam community used to hate anyone with DRM. Now Steam doing it. Steam's always done DRM. What are you talking about? Like, Steam's always had DRM. That's kind of been the whole point of Steam, is it has its own level of DRM to protect. It's not like you can go and play a game right off the store. You can crack things potentially, but like, it's not just, you can't go and download something. It's just not easy. Satanic. Hello, sir. Your hat isn't yellow anymore. This thing right here? This is green too. I need to change my coloring. Cascoder, what they're trying to do is partner with Nintendo to bring Denuvo to Switch to prevent emulation of their games. Yeah, that's not gonna. They're gonna do that. It's not gonna end up working though. I already. It's gonna hurt the performance. But well, already the Switch really can't handle that type of stuff. It's just, I don't think it's gonna work very well. Oh, Satanic. Yeah, yes, thank you, Lomkey. Yes, I'm not Hufflepuff anymore. I changed my hat color. Obviously, nothing else changed. I mean, I didn't put on as much makeup, but still looking good, I guess. Almost as good as yesterday. If you don't know, Susie, my wife, did a video yesterday, and I'm very thankful for everyone that has gone and watched it, commented on it, and said nice things. Honestly, she worked really hard on that video, and she played a lot of Hogwarts. It wasn't intentional to play that much Hogwarts, but she played a lot. She liked it. Thank you, Satanic. Yeah, Andre, the Switch has been taxed for a very long time, and if they try to do too much DRM on that thing is going to be what they'll do is they probably won't do DRM that's running. They'll probably have some type of encryption process potentially. It's a little late. They're gonna want to probably do it with the Switch too, to be fair. At this point, it might be a little late on Switch. Gears 5 needs to be Decker verified instead of jumping through hoops to get it to run. Ugh, that does suck. What do you think of GOG so far? I actually haven't used GOG very much. I have a GOG, whatever you want. I call it GOG. I have a couple of games on there as I've gotten for free. I think even Witcher I've got on there, and I'm doing the Deck Revealed project that has GOG in it, and I haven't run any games on it yet. So I think it's a good service. I like it. I think we need more stuff like that where it's lighter on the DRM or pretty much no DRM. And so I'd like to see it. Can't hate. GOG has Rayman. Can't hate. Yeah, Rayman is good. That's a really good game. So enough with the anti-cheat stuff. We'll land into not anti-cheat, DRM, anti-tamper DRM in the future. It is a thing. Like, as more and more people pirate, and it, like, in the past, it's been proven that piracy hasn't affected the bottom line very much, but I do think that's going to change. I do think it's going to change. But with all these sales going on, I just don't know how that's a thing. Now, have you guys watched any of the new Star Wars movies, old Star Wars movies? I mean, we got Obi-Wan Kenobi. I mean, we have, even if you don't like the prequels, Obi-Wan Kenobi is awesome in it. So we can all say that. I liked Obi-Wan Kenobi, the TV series. I know a lot of people didn't. That might be a hot take. But Seagate's new Star Wars SSD equips your PC with a lightsaber. This is probably exactly what you need. This is for LoJack. LoJack, if you're listening. Yes, Satanic. Heroic Game Launcher has been really nice for Epic and GOG games. Yes. And what the new deck revealed platform is based off of are those. I'm going to twist it and make it a little different. I'm not going to directly, like, if you want the best experience possible, you're going to still continue to use those. But if you want to just be able to play them decently, then you'll be able to do it on the deck reveal project soon. Yes, the Mando season is the Mandalorian season 3 is really good. I really like it. So all it is a heat sink, I believe, right? Let's see. Is it me or is like Star Wars music gotten like mixed up with Harry Potter music? It felt like Harry Potter meets Star Wars. A wand version would be pretty cool too. I'm not as big a Hogwarts or Harry Potter fan as I am Star Wars fan. That is sick though, and it's actually it might maybe I'll make a Death Star PC next. Honestly, a Death Star PC would be such a cool project. Once I get some of my other stuff I need to get done project wise, maybe later on this year we'll do like a really cool Star Wars Death Star PC. Honestly, there's a lot of models out there. Maybe I could potentially buy a big enough model that I could build a PC in if it's supported properly, so I don't have to do everything myself. My Cascoder, my GPU covers my SSD. Well, mine doesn't, so mine honestly it would look pretty sick right there. Need an NZXT Cascoder. Gundorian. I'm more of a they're more of a Middle Earth fan. Hey, I'm always down for some some of the elvish writings on that glows on an SSD heatsink would be so sick. I'm not gonna I might change my mind. I might go with that. Casket. Ew. My N60 is awesome. Okay. So as far as this article, I'll throw it out. Oh my gosh. It's not letting me input anything. Wolf, can you throw this out? Maybe you could throw some of these links out into sharing is caring on the Discord. So if you're not yet a part of the Games Revealed community, Games Revealed, we have a Discord where we chat, talk about life, love, the pursuit of happiness. But not really. Like we try to be happy on there. Games, Steam Decks, and all that stuff. We have a sharing is caring channel. This would be a great place for that, Wolf. So if you do that, cover myself up. Nah. Hey, I like being a nerd. So, let's move on before I embarrass LoJack anymore. So, with the Humble Bundle store that's sale going on right now. Wait, is it a sale? There is a sale going on. You can get Cyberpunk 2077, which is a pretty common sell price for $30. You got Doom for $4.99. I wouldn't say these are the best deals I've ever seen, but if you're in the world to get some good deals in the world, if you're in the mood, if you need to get if you want to get some good deals, there's some going on right now. I will have to say I've seen better prices for the Neon White, but that is a good game and it's definitely worth picking up right here. Neon White. I've really enjoyed that game. It's very different though. Prey is an amazing game and it plays great on the deck. Prey or Prey Deluxe Digital Edition. And of course, Witcher 3 is like everyone knows that. I wouldn't say it's the best playing game, like best looking to performance game. but it's great on the deck. Doom Eternal plays at 60 frames per second at like high. So, yeah, Evil Within, you're gonna have a good time. Plenty of good sales going on. I feel like anymore. That's why I don't cover sales as much. I feel like anymore sales are just always going on with everything, and so it's a little hard to cover sales when there's so many of them. LoJack, James is going to start building themed gaming PCs. Come on, LoJack, you know you'd love a Death Star PC. I have Satanic. I have not covered. I am going to be covering Dead Island 2 at the end of this. So, okay. Next up, we have the download the Dead Space demake while you can. It's a bit as the spooky. It's every bit as spooky as the original and its current gen remake. I don't know if I go like believe that fully, but I definitely want this. In fact, I haven't even downloaded it yet. So, ooh, am I gonna get in trouble downloading this now? Let's see. I still can't. Okay, well, I'm gonna tweet it out later. Dead Space demake. It's like it says. If you, it's so weird that people will take the time to make demakes. I'm not against it for the fun of it, right? Obviously, they're not charging it. It was something. It's probably a project that gives them clout, right? What a demake is or what a remake. So what's a remake? It's the opposite of a remake. So a remake is usually built to make it look better, uh, perform better in its controls and all that. A demake, what it's going to do is it makes it so it's more simple. Usually they're trying to cover like old school PlayStation 1 or 2 graphic levels. A couple games have had demakes, but this is one of them. Oftentimes it's passion projects, stuff that people want to see how they can do it. It's become more of a trend with up and coming game developers, people that are really trying to do new things and just get something out. Because a demake doesn't take them nearly as long to make as a regular uh, game would take, because with game engines and with low res textures and not have to worry about detail as much, you can get through things so much quicker. Um, you sent me a message. Oh, you sent the message. Okay. So yeah, I just want to throw it out there. If you're at all a Dead Space fan, if you are curious to see what a demake, like what would it be like on the PlayStation? I know a lot of people here like old school games. I know it's more of a nostalgia trip where, oh, I want to play Jack and Dexter on my Steam Deck. If I could, I'd play a higher res version of it, but I can't, so I'm going to play the version that has worse graphics. This just purposely has worse graphics, but it's fun. It's a fun little thing, and I love Dead Space so much, so I'm going to try it. So I loved seeing that this was news. In fact, let's see. Excuse me. When you, oops, I'm curious now. What is the engine? I have no clue what engine it is, but that is interesting. Okay. So we're gonna move on to the next. Well, before we move on to the next thing, let's look into chat real quick. Welcome, Soy. Thanks for explaining that. Never heard of a demake. Yeah, people don't sometimes say demake, sometimes they do. It's been trending for the past few years, but it's becoming more popular. And I think it's just really fun projects that people want to make, and it's something that one person can take on and finish. And so people like to do that. Satanic, I don't know if it's me getting older, but $70 game seems a lot more expensive than 60. It's harder to be impulsive. It is, agreed, but I also think inflation is causing a lot of issues with our spending levels, meaning everything costs more. So, in theory, $70 is actually cheaper than $60 technically if our pay was going up along with inflation, which it's not royally getting like that. We don't need to get into all that crap, but things aren't evening out. So when you're getting paid very similar levels as you were 5 years ago, $60 or $70 is going to look a lot more expensive than 60 because you don't have money from buying all the other stuff to spend on even $60. $60 would even look more expensive now than it would be in the past, even though inflation should have, it's just that is just kind of how it works. So it sucks. Yeah, I agree. Like $70, but it also makes sense. With inflation, they're going to raise prices of games. I just hope they put that into raises for game developers, which they probably won't because they're assholes. But that's the only problem with big companies. Hey, Don Quixote, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, that's why I limit myself to a few franchises, says Gondorian. Yeah, I could get behind that. Lomkey, the Godot engine 3, Godot 3 engine, that is. There's a good chance that is that. That's a good engine, honestly. A good third-party engine, or a good open source engine. But yeah. Yeah, I'm too much of a test taker or a taster. I like to taste things. I like to try new things. And so I have a hard time sticking to just a couple of different games and franchises and whatnot. I find myself venturing out, but with time restraints and all that, I definitely don't venture out too much these days. There's a lot of indie games I want to try. There's just too many. Yeah. Gondorian. Yeah, it's easy to just easy that way so you don't get overwhelmed. Agreed. I actually agree with that. It's just there's some fun games out there that if you don't venture out a little bit, it's just a shame that you're not going to play it. Just a shame. Okay, this is a good one. So, Satanic. It's a shame that my next purchase between Star Wars, Dead Space, and Redfall will be which one runs like shit the least. I think to be fair, it depends on what system you have. If you have a beefy enough PC, which kind of sucks to say that these days, in that you have to spend a lot of money that we're already being overcharged on graphics cards to be able to play the games that we want. I don't complain as much because my 3090 does a pretty decent job. That doesn't mean everyone's going to have that. Dead Space runs fine. Dead Space is great. Does not run that bad. Star Wars, the new Star Wars will probably run a lot worse than Dead Space. Redfall, I have a feeling will run pretty decent. We'll see though. Their games usually aren't super intense on their graphics. Just to wrap up that response. Z, more like $70 for an unfinished game. Most of the games are typically, for the most part, finished. It's just things are so big. They push things for so long. It's a bigger problem in the whole industry. And honestly, we need to shout at the executives and not the game devs. Like sometimes they're a little bit at fault, but really they get over really hard. I shouldn't. I try not to swear on this channel, so I do apologize. I mean, I edited myself kind of, but Cascoder, you have it right. If you've paid at least $1,000 for your GPU, the PC version will be run just fine. Yeah, which is sad. It's a sad day to say that. Okay, Steam Deck now supports popular Xbox games. This is kind of it's from thecomicbook.com. It's it's technically correct. The reason I brought this up more or less is because there was a new update, and we knew that they were working on this a couple of months ago from an interview that Lewis and a bunch of other guys did from Steam on what they're working on for the Steam Deck and what's coming in the future. One of them was that they were working on the Halo's anti-cheat EAC system to allow Halo to be completely playable on the Steam Deck. Now, it sounds like, including multiplayer, I think before I was able to play the other Halos before. I just never tried the multiplayer, and I heard the multiplayer didn't work. But now it sounds like all the modes and everything is now playable. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo ODST, Halo Reach on the Steam Deck with the Master Chief Collection. That is honestly, it's a great collection to buy, and it's nostalgic on the deck. And it just pretty much makes it an Xbox almost at this point. I mean, Halo is like the most iconic game for the Xbox, right? So now it is not Verified is just set to playable, meaning there might be a couple of hiccups going on with that. So we'll see. Maybe in the future we'll get fully verified, but for now it is just playable. Thanks, Andre, for stopping by. We'll catch you guys. We'll catch you a little later, Andre. Sent me a message on. I don't know where you sent the message. Wolf, I don't see the message. Oh, you sent Foombooter. Okay, sorry. I apologize, guys. Okay, so that is good news if you're a big Halo fan. Now, I don't think I don't think they've released Halo 5. Have they released Halo 5 for the Steam Deck? I guess we can look. Yeah. They have Halo Infinite, but not Halo 5 for the Steam Deck. That would be really cool to see that Halo 5 get put in there. So we'll see if that does, but I think Microsoft and Sony have been treating the Steam and PC people really well with a lot of good updates. Okay, so that's the Halo thing. It's not really a whole lot more than that when it comes to the. I can't believe that they need to do more, obviously, but you know the Halo series and all that. Like, let's not rest anymore on that. Crucial P5, the plus 2 TB. I probably should have grouped hardware stuff together, but all that. Is this still on sale? I believe it's still on sale. The Crucial P5, this 2 TB drive is pretty good and it's on sale. Let's see, like 6,600 megabytes. Wow. Second sequential reads is really good. Definitely 2 TB, 130. I bought mine. That's 7,000 sequential writes for about 170. And Crucial's pretty good memory. Definitely would recommend this. I still don't think I can post. Wolf, if you can post this too, that'd be awesome. Yeah. That'd be awesome. Okay. So figured I'd just throw that out there. Give you guys another good Key. You usually go for free or you go for cheaper NVMEs. I'd be a little careful on that. The problem is it depends on if you are going for a lot of space, that it's very slow, or going for a lot of space or a little bit of space and very fast. A lot of cheap drives are very slow. So I'm not saying that they're going to fail. You want to go with brands and with models that have been proven track record for your memory, because memory sucks when it dies. Necrosphere, welcome. And this is one of those ones that has a track record of being good, and $130 for 2 TB for NVMe drive is amazing. Okay, you got Grow Big or Go Home. I actually haven't played this yet, but it's one of the things that was it's been going around the PC gaming news world that this is free now, which doesn't have a lot of reviews, but I figured, hey, let's throw it in here. This has gone to free to play, I believe now. So you can go ahead and grab this. Believe it. There's a good chance this works on the Steam Deck, but let's move on because we need to get through all our news. This is an interesting update, but I don't know if I know enough about it to actually go over it in today's video. Oh yeah, Key. If you're doing this just for games, then yeah. I have a bunch of projects I use my drives for that the speed does help. This is according to Steam Deck HQ, Mesa driver updates, pipeline improvements, and reduced shader cache size, which is very nice. So the Mesa driver is the Linux driver from AMD. And so the new Mesa 23.1 graphics driver is coming out. You don't need to do anything if when it comes out on the track that you're. So if you're on stable, I don't know if it's when it's coming to stable or if it's already out on stable. I haven't checked actually the release on this. But when it does come out, it will just auto update. You don't have to do anything, which is nice about the Steam Deck. It's essentially almost a console. I mean, it's a PC. It's a console that allows you to do PC things. The shader cache is a big deal, and also they do take up a lot of space sometimes. So seeing that it reduces that is going to help a lot. I also, from my understanding, this is going to be a driver that will help out with some graphical hitches and a couple other niceties that usually when you see stuff like this, you see performance increase a little bit. You can see right here the reduced single file disk cache by around 60% in size, which is a big deal. So yeah, those that have 64 gigabyte versions, more details on this are available in the patches merge request, which you can go read if you want to go put yourself to sleep. Sometimes I don't read it, even though I can decipher it, but yeah. Satanic Dying Light is amazing. Is Dying Light still free on Epic? Yeah, if you have not picked it up yet, if it is still free on Epic, Dying Light Enhanced Edition is awesome. If it's still for free, go get it over on Epic. It plays great on the deck. Okay. Now for the final piece of news before we get into the deck revealed update, we got a post from someone. Animaniacs, probably something along those lines. Good news for those who are waiting to play this deck, the Dead Island 2 on Steam Deck. Game runs perfectly on Steam Deck. FPS plays around 40 to 50 in crowded areas and 50 to 60 in non-crowded areas. Dead Island 2 is exclusive to Epic Games on PC. You will need to Lutris or heroic launcher to play this game. I am USI. So soon you could also do it through the Deck Revealed project, which is going to be renamed to Revealed by the end of this month. It's already kind of going that way, as it has Epic support, but it's because of Heroic. It's built off of it. If you want the most newest, up-to-date stuff for Epic Games, then Heroic is the best way to go about it. As far as this is really good news. Okay. As you can see, it's looking like it's playing pretty good. When does Dead Island? Is Dead Island already out? Okay, I didn't think so. This must be someone reviewing it, and they must have gotten permission to shout this out. Honestly, if I don't know what these marketing teams are doing, this would be smart to shout out in tweets that, hey, this game plays really well on the deck. So why don't we just it's if anything, it's going to help their sales. If they can show, hey, this plays great on the deck. This plays good here. Honestly, these companies need to start showcasing that this plays well in places on your PC or on your Steam Deck. And they could definitely, that's all they'd have to do to destroy the competition. So, Lomkey, problem, Epic does any API change, it does screw things up. Yes. Epic doesn't want to promote Heroic. Yeah, probably not. But it is what it is. Oh, Chad. Wait. Well, welcome, Chad, Cat, and Baby. I didn't see you guys pop in. Okay. As for that's the news on the Dead Island 2. It plays great. It's exclusive to Epic, which does suck. But they've given you so many free games. If you do, like, I'm going to be playing it. Hopefully, day one, we'll see. But It's not the worst case scenario. I mean, if you like zombie games like me and you want to play it on the Steam Deck, it looks like it's going to play just fine. So it'll be interesting. In fact, I'm kind of curious if the graphics aren't like as amazing as some of these other games coming out. So that's kind of interesting to see. Satanic, I'm sure there's something in their exclusive contract with Epic to prevent them from pushing it. Oh, I don't. But the thing is, Satanic, I don't see most other games doing it that much, though. That's my problem. I don't think it's in their wheelhouse in the marketing team to push these games. So I would almost agree with you. But I just don't know because I don't see it coming from other teams. Once we see it from everywhere else except for Epic exclusives, then yeah, maybe I'll be more on board with that. I mean, we'd have to see. Maybe we can get a leaked contract, but it'd be really weird if it was a part of the contract. Honestly, it'd be weird. We could end up seeing an Epic deck maybe in the future. I know Epic Games trying really hard to compete with Valve, really hard. And honestly, I think they just lose money through it. But they have a lot of money to spend, and I'd rather see them do it this way than just. Then again, I would also like to see them pay their developers maybe a little bit more. But I mean, they don't pay too bad. They also haven't. Epic Games hasn't been doing as many exclusives on the PC. Seems like it just was what it seems like lately. Evil Dead seems to be the last semi-major game that was Epic exclusive. That's what it kind of seems like too, Satanic. Um, okay, let's get into the deck revealed project. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about with today's news. If not, let's get into a little bit of deck. Just a little bit. Just the tip of the code. Cascoder. Depending on the developer and publisher, it might just have to do more with Sony's marketing terms, depending on the game. If you try to push a Steam Deck version over the PlayStation version, honestly, I don't know. I think a sell's a sell. I just don't think people are really taking the Steam Deck as serious as they need to. Yeah, zombies, gorilla, Chad would be. Yeah, we'd be all dead. Bacon Spaceman, Epic Games gives out free games, so that's cool. Yes, honestly, Epic, if you want to play the game of like who's bad, who's not, I know people want to have a bad guy. I'm not a big fan of really big publishers or some of these companies that are a little too profit focused. Epic and Valve aren't too bad. When they release stuff, it's usually pretty good. I don't care what you think Fortnite, it's a killer game in the sense of, like, it does really well. Valve releases banger games every time. They both put a lot of money into projects, while Valve, I don't know where their money goes. Like, Steam makes a ton of money. I don't see it being reinvested back in because they don't have a lot of employees. They do pay pretty well, though. Epic pays decently, like, from the stuff I've seen. Sometimes they're a little underpaid, depending on what department you're going to be working in. But yeah, yeah. I think they both like, but they put a lot more money into their projects, and the Epic and the Unreal Engine is amazing. I will say that right now. The Unreal Engine is amazing. I love it. Unity is a little bit more simple, but the Epic engine is just better. Even though it's been iterated over a much longer than Unity, which you think would come with more baggage, I feel like it's not as bad as what Unity's kind of evolved into. Unity seems a little bit more drenched in old code, old processes and stuff like that. So I have a little bit of a soft spot for Epic because I really like their engine, and it's honestly not a very expensive engine to license out. Um, any giant animal that becomes a zombie, if there was a zombie apocalypse, we all die. It all depends on how easy it is for them to get to us, how well that they can run, and yeah, and how many of them. If there's like 100 giraffes in just one little area, you're obviously screwed. If there's just like one giraffe, you might be able to take it down. You might lose a lot of people, but you still won't. Not everyone's screwed. Lumkey, I'm not a big fan of what Epic was doing, but there are people that don't have money, got free games. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I know people all want to have one launcher. I'm one of those too. I want to have one launcher. That's you we don't. We want competition. If we're going to do the capitalistic thing, we want competition. You don't want, because eventually Steam is going to move on from Gabe Newell to someone else, or something's going to happen, and then some. And what if there's myriad of different scenarios that could happen to where your games are screwed, especially if it becomes a monopoly. And EA, Blizzard, doing all these other companies doing their own launchers, not the same thing. Not the same thing. They, for one, almost none of them have indie games on it. Pretty much none of them do. From my understanding, really, you have GOG, you have Epic, you have Steam. Those are the top dogs when it comes to launchers that would also have indie games. Because you have to think, like, indie games is an important thing. Epic, while they do exclusives, need to get into the game somehow. I know we hate that. It's just the do you want a monopoly? Like, I know we don't want exclusives, and that maybe they could have focused better on their platform. And sorry if I'm getting passionate about this, but maybe they could have worked better on their platform. I think so. I think they could have put a lot more money into maybe not giving away games and maybe a huge team on building a better platform than Steam. But over the years, it's getting better and better. I will have to admit, I think it's good. And I think people, their strategy for like free game giveaways and exclusives, I think, has caused enough people to go over to Epic, but not exclusively. Like, they're still not top dog. And I don't necessarily want them to be, but I want there to be a competitor. So exclusives suck, but they're not the same thing as they are on the PlayStation and Xbox. And there's just no way you're going to convince me otherwise. Like, if you have to have two launchers, the Epic and the Steam, not a big deal. There's because there's so many games already on Epic and they're giving away so many free games. Might as well just have it already. Sucks, but it is what it is. It could be like Xbox and PlayStation. That would suck. Where it's like, okay, well, this game will only work on AMD GPUs or CPUs. At least we don't have that. Having it be a launcher that you just have to install another launcher, that's what I'm not. I have more things to worry about. And then once again, your guys' opinions do matter. That's just my opinion on the matter. I have other things to be more enraged about. Amazon Prime 2 also has some free games. Okay, Bacon. In your opinion, what is the most underrated zombie game? People are going to know this, I think, already. I could probably, if I sat down and thought of a game, if it's back 20 years ago, original Half-Life series, They Hunger is one of the most underrated mods out there. It's so good. I love They Hunger, and it is hilarious. Especially, it's got like, you have to go play it. It's really fun. They had PC Gamer teamed up with that team. They released like demo discs with it and all that. It was a whole big deal. And I love zombies. I love horror. I love all that stuff. So seeing that was just made me so happy. In the past few years, I would people are gonna know what I'm gonna say, I'm pretty sure. Back for Blood, I think, is an underrated zombie game. It has great mechanics. It's got really good shooting. Zombies are fun. The only downside is it wasn't Dead Space, Left 4 Dead 3. And because it wasn't that, everyone just hated it. My opinion, I've played a lot of the game though. I'm also a big fan of the zombie games, but going back to the Left 4 Dead is kind of difficult now for me actually. Back for Blood really is that much more of an upgrade over Left 4 Dead when it comes to mechanics. But yes, thanks for the question. I love answering questions like that. Ooh, Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a great one. Yes, agreed, Satanic. Am I gonna get the Killer Clown from Outer Space game? I don't know yet. It is creepy. I honestly, that'd be a really good one to stream. If you guys have not, go follow me on the Brink, or youtube.com/the Brink or at the Brink TH3BRNK. You can also follow me on twitch.tv/TH3BRNK. I stream at those places. Um, I'm gonna be streaming more like indie games on YouTube and then more mainstream games and reacts on Twitch for right now, and then posting them onto YouTube. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about bacon, yeah, I'll probably play it. Honestly, 100%. I hate clowns. Clowns are one of the scarier things for me. I'll face my fears though. Wolfenstein does not count. I would not count it, even though it has some weird things in it. I don't know if there's real zombies in it. Is there? Necrosphere, Brink. I'm tempted to get Tashia on Epic, but am I saying that right? Tishia on Epic, but I really want it on Steam. Is it exclusive? Are they going to come out with Steam? You could wait. I don't know that game. They're really making a game. Oh yeah, yes. They are making a game. Oh, is it that type of game? I thought it was a single player too. Well, we'll see. Okay, you guys can continue asking questions at me though to make sure that I get it and I'll answer. So here's the code. Just kidding. Most of this code is all this code except for some credentials are going to be open source soon. So you'll be able to file reports there and all that for bugs soon. The preview version went out today if you're a Pro Plus member of the Deck Revealed family. And Deck Revealed, in fact, it shouldn't say Deck Revealed, it should say just Revealed. Deck Revealed is getting renamed to Revealed. I've mentioned this multiple times because it's going to be a multiple platform game. You can see in the console over here, I have Steam OS, says false, false. When it's on the Steam, and the way that I'm doing it now, I found it was hard. Maybe this is a little too nerdy, programming wise. I had to base it off the CPU architecture. So in Node and JavaScript, I was able to get the CPUs and its architecture, the name of the CPUs. And so that's how I base it off of SteamOS because it's it's a custom AMD chip. I was able to say, oh, this is SteamOS. Yeah. So it's still got some bugs. I'm going to be reworking I want to do two UIs. So I have a play UI that I will be showcasing what it could be like the old style that we had, and then keep it in the heroic MUI style, which is MUI is a component library. I use Mantine. They're both pretty good libraries to build stuff really quickly. The problem is that heroic, and this is where you get into some problems with open source if you don't vet PRs well enough. They don't use half of the MUI component libraries. They have like custom stuff in here, which adds for a lot of spaghetti code. That being said, there's a lot of here that's already been done for me, so I'm not going to complain. I've been reworking. I'm going to be refactoring half the code base, but that's one of the things that kind of took me a little longer as I refactored a little bit just to make sure I didn't run into bugs in the future. So in this new app, you're going to be able to edit your apps if you want. Well, in this case, it's not going to pop up right now because I'm not signed in properly. But you can also, if you haven't, let's see here. These are you're not going to get, so unless you're on the Steam Deck, you're not going to get, if you're on the Steam Deck, you're going to get the scripts. So when you click it, as you saw here, it'll have the install. I'll have more and more information come out about the installations and the progresses and all that. Um, you can open it in browsers, like I showed last time. A lot of things have not changed. I just started working on boot videos. So these two things, you can now in this install utilities like you could with the old app. This is going to be considered version 2.0.0 as it's a huge refactor. Honestly, I should just call it just version 1. I don't know. Maybe we'll go with that. I don't know yet. Fully. I haven't been thinking about that. You're going to be able to get your utilities. You're going to be able to get your boot videos, and I'm going to be putting a lot more boot videos on here and some suspend videos. And I'm going to be getting to chat here in a second and answering more stuff before we switch over to Twitch. So this also has Epic Games and GOG. They both work. I need to re-sign into Epic Games again, but it works like Heroic will. I'm going to be changing the interface a little bit, partially because I don't want to copy them. Like the reason I did this is because they have a lot of good structural electron-based components and kind of components, but more or less functions, libraries, stuff like that I'm able to build this off of, so I can make this application much quicker with some base stuff because I have mods I want to work on. I want to work on performance profiles. I want to work on a lot of different things. And with that, this legendary stuff is going to be only available legendary. I say legendary because that's what it's built off of. Legendary is the open source library that Heroic uses for Epic Games stuff. Epic and GOG for now will be under preview, which is only Pro and Pro Plus, and Big Deck Energy will be able to use. Unless it's going to be open source too, so you'll be able to just run your own version if you want. But bundled up with a bunch of extras and stuff like that, it will be. This isn't paid. This is a free application, open source with a paid thing that more or less supports this, but I also try to add some extras. But the games this games area will become free for everyone. I just might put it under preview for now because I can't promise everything in this will work all the time until it's in a better state. It's going to be in preview, so probably for a few weeks. So Pro and Pro Plus will have access to it. Anything that's preview, some previews will be early access only, which is Pro Plus. Others will be under Pro accounts. So yeah. The Loam key, yes, definitely bugs in this, but you'll be able to report them in. And I'll do maybe in a week, I'll show you how to report bugs in GitHub. Because honestly, I think it's useful for people. And yeah, man, you call yourself an open source developer by just reporting a couple of bugs, as long as the bug report is coherent. And that's where I'm really not looking forward to looking through bugs and all that, because there's a whole management system that you have to put in. Another thing I did with this, you'll see all this. They had a great pipeline for building the stuff automatically. So every time someone pushes some new code up, and it's been verified and gets merged into the main into the main branch or like into the main set of code, an auto build will go out and build everything, and we'll do auto releases, so based off of versions. So if there's a new version tag, like let's say version 2.0.1 comes out, it will auto build. You'll be able to get notified right here. Heroic uses a web-based system where it will pop up with the change log and all that. I'll try to copy that too with this project because I think they have some good practices I would like to follow. Don Quixote, what is the difference between Pro and Pro Plus? For now, I'm really trying. Right now, I need to do a better job of just showing like a lot of this is mainly just supporting me, but the future will change. Like, so one of them is that you'll get themes. There's already themes built in, but these could go away. So don't be married to these just yet, because if I go with a different UI Some of these will go away. I'll try to keep some, but there'll be more like themes with images, some cool themes I'm going to be putting together. Those will be based on the tiers if you care about that. Pro will get to add their own apps, like this ad app right here is not available unless you're pro because it uses the database system. I'm using Firebase right now, which I'm a little hesitant to. I don't know. It's a trial period between Firebase, Endhost, and Superbase. Maybe thin backend, maybe, but that's probably jargon that you guys just don't know about. But the Pro will be able to do additional database things like add apps, add backup, because I'm going to have it so you can point to an area to backup, ROM saves and all that stuff. Not ROMs, emulator stuff like that. ROMs is a different story, and that's going to be a subjective thing where Pro Plus, you'll get a lot more space, but you'll have to manually select areas that you want it to back up. Not too big a deal, and it will sync between. And that's another cool thing that I'll be able to do is with Heroic. You install it on Windows or you install it on wherever, it doesn't travel. The favorites, a lot of stuff doesn't travel. So, like on Steam, you save stuff when you favorite things. It's in the cloud. This is going to be similar. So with this, I might even do a web app version to where you can access some of the stuff on the web app. I don't know. This is React. It's all portable, web-based technology. It's another kind of plus to do that this way. You're going to be able to retain all that, where Heroic does it a little differently. They're not doing it bad, and they don't have to pay for an infrastructure. I do, thus the Pro and Pro Plus. Favorites will be allowed for people that are free, though. I'll allow that. But it does eat into resources. It's just what it is, though. Don Quixote Voodoo. I honestly have not tried Voodoo yet. I think it was work. I thought I got it to work on it. Wait. Oh, these aren't launching now. You have to go into here. I swear I got it to work, but I think you have to do it through like Chrome. So double check all this stuff. I thought it was working, but Don Quixote can't 100%. Yeah. If you want. Oh, and I am going to be reworking the Deck Rebuild website. I know Will's probably rolling over in her grave. I know she's here, but people signing up are having issues. So I'm going to make it so that this website is going to be more matched to this. And so when you sign up and all that, now the blog portion of this might still be over through this system, but the rest of the website will be a little different. I guess we could go back through and revisit all this stuff real quick, and then we'll go on stream. So emulation, EmuDeck already offers a bunch of stuff. There's already a lot of stuff set up for it, but I do want to get into this preview, like Pro and Pro Plus get early access to previews. Pro gets access to Easy Save Manager. Pro Plus gets access to Raw Manager with backups. I do want to be careful how I say that because, well, yeah, it's just there's a little bit of a gray, there's a really bit of a gray area. Game launchers, this heroic, I can never say that right. Launcher integration, we'll see if I actually add that in now that I just flat out allow for GOG and Epic. I do also want to add in some way to do Battle.net. I really do want Battle.net to work on this. Matey J. I'm sorry, I always mess up your name. Don't know how possible it is, but it might be better for some people to have one option be a one-time fee and one membership, mainly because memberships scare a lot of people off. I agree. But the problem is that it's the data is retained. I have to pay for the data over time. Like I'm not the part that's being paid for is data that's always going to be there and persistent. And so I'm always have to pay for that. Now, with the first probably 1,000+ people using it, I'm not going to have to pay much because there's a free tier at Firebase. But once you get past to that, no matter what the database is, I'm going to be paying for it. A one-time fee, if someone pays, let's say $5 now, and I let them use something that has a lot of data, over a 5-year period, it's going to cost me a lot. It's going to cost me more than the $5, depending on how demanding of they use. I agree. Like, I would like to do a one-time payment, and we'll see. Maybe we'll play around with that if it doesn't use a lot of data. I just don't want to lock features behind for people. So I don't know if this will ever make a lot of money. I'm hoping it makes some money to at least be somewhat livable. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to be able to live off of it, but it'd be cool to be able to get to a point where I can like pay for some of my bills and then maybe even hire, well, pay some open source people too. Sorry, my nose just got really itchy. Yeah, I agree. Memberships suck. It really sucks. I'll figure something out with it. We'll see though. Dumb Quixote, speaking of which, did you manage to fix the next Netflix DRM thing? I am not going to be able to fix it until once I get to a certain point, you'll be able to add it to your Steam through Chrome and then have to do it that way. Once I get a license, then I can fix it. I just have to apply for a license. It takes time for all this stuff. And I can't apply for this until I want to open source it and then apply for it so they can have access to it and all that. It's not quite ready for me to apply. I don't think they're going to care. Matey J, I'd say maybe the backups be membership based and add apps be one-time fee. Yeah, so yeah, but that still is database, so maybe. It's not a lot, but if someone adds a lot of images and a lot of apps, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to add a lot of tiers. I could always just be like, pro is costs, and then if you want just, I don't know, add a membership. I don't know. Adding apps though, it still uses database over time. I just don't. I agree with you. I think it probably best to do something like that. I just don't want to complicate it, but we'll figure it out. I'm not trying to, and I'll make it to where if you pay for, like, let's say if you pay for a month's worth, so if you do the pro and then quit, you'll still be able to add apps, and then you'll still be able to access those apps. So if you have a bunch of apps you want to add, pay for the pro for a month, cancel, those apps will still stay there. So I'm not going to manage that. That's fine. I just don't want to really complicate the subscription system either. I don't want to. I mean, if I could, I wouldn't even charge, but I do want to pay for this project and be able to work on it more. Like, it's fun. It's a fun project, and I want it to be more than just like a passion project. I want to actually be able to pay bills. Not just my bills, but also the bills that cost to make these things, because with using a database and file system, it does cost money. Okay, game graphic profiles. This will be pro most likely. I am saying it's pro right now. We'll see though. Mod Manager is also another one where I don't think Mod Manager is not going to be pro. The early access will be pro. There's other features being considered. As far as the remote plays apps, I still need to add in there. I kind of got like caught up because I redid everything, but more and more I built stuff to be more compatible. So hopefully by the end of April, pretty much everything right here will be done. And then maybe we'll edge into some emulation. This will be preview mode for a while, but this is technically done if you don't count Battle.net. Honestly, also adding your own apps, Matey J, I'm gonna try to make it so that like as many apps exist on there. There's just gonna be certain apps that don't exist on there. Wink, wink. And you'd have to add it on because I'm not gonna add that it's gonna be. I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. So I know it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot. A lot of the stuff I did was more back end and it auto build. So like, um, once I get a developer license ready for this, it'd even work on MacBook or on Mac. That is Don Quixote. Yes, 100%. I have thought about maybe integrating ads with the free version. Yes, um, and I probably will, and I might adjust all the pricing depending on how well it goes. And they're not going to be targeted, meaning I'm not going to use your data. They're going to be game related. So if you like the deck, if it's on the deck, I'll know that like I'll show you deck accessories and stuff like that. It's not going to be anything crazy. It's going to be more or less like, hey, do you like this? Cool. I don't have sponsors or anything set up for this, but I wouldn't be against it. I definitely wouldn't want to make it like I want to make it as integrated as possible. So because if I went too far with the sponsors, I'd get rid of almost all the paid tiers except for the ones for data backup because that's expensive on its own. I'd have to do that. Um, Midi J, I agree fully. You're doing great work and deserve to get paid. I'm just looking to at how lots of people are immediately turned off by subscriptions versus a one-time fee, regardless of price. Yes, plenty of projects have been hurt greatly by just doing membership fees. I don't I don't trust that I'd be able to make enough money to offset over a 5-year period. I just worry that like in 5 years, people don't buy it. Let's say everyone like we have 50,000 people that have bought it, and less people are buying it. And then there's still tons of free people using it because free people still do go into usage, meaning when someone uses this because I'm using a database, it does cost money. So if let's say for it'd be amazing, a ton of people start using the app. That's expensive, no matter what service I'm using. It's going to be expensive. I could practice caching and shipping out stuff. I at that point I probably would practice some different things, but it would bankrupt the project. I'd have to close it down. Let's say in like not as many people are buying it. We've had a threshold for some reason, and people bought it for $5. Not as many people are doing pro. Whatever is happening, I don't want people that paid $5 5 years ago to then lose out. I know it gets into the complexities of all this. Like, there's a lot of ways to think about this. A lot of companies that do this. A lot of companies do memberships. I know people are really sick and tired of memberships. That's why I tried to have as much of the app behind just free, and maybe even adding apps will be behind the free when ads come out, because ads will be a thing. It just won't be it won't be like Google ads popping up everywhere. It's just going to be more recommended stuff. So no, I honestly I really enjoy all this feedback, and I definitely am going to take this all into account. Necrosphere, it's an exclusive right now, but it looks amazing, and I love the transformation mechanics in the game. I'm down for any games that remotely like Legend of Zelda-ish. Yes. Agreed. And that's way back to a game earlier. Let's see here. Don Quixote. From what I've seen, GPT-4 seems to be a great tool for code fixing. Kind of. Once it's open sourced, I might be able to tell it, hey, look for bugs potentially. The problem is it's not going to catch all of them, and a lot of them it just can't. Chat GPT is not that powerful. It's an interesting concept. I have used it to write some algorithms that are in the deck rebuild project, but that's because it's stuff like I've already done this a bunch of times. I don't want to go look for the code because I don't want to think about it. I'm going to tell it to rewrite this. So, okay, with that, guys, if you have not done so, make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell with your crowbar. We are going to mosey on over to twitch.tv/th3brink, the Brink, to go and play some games. I do plan on doing more reacts, just content in the future over there and also on YouTube. And yeah, I really do like chatting with everyone here. I want to go beyond some of the topics that we go here. And so that's why I've been doing more. I haven't been doing more content at the Brink, at YouTube's The Brink or Twitch's The Brink, but I have really enjoyed it. If you Don Quixote, but provide an on and off button for the ads. Then people are going to leave the ads on out of the goodness of their heart. Reverse psychology. It's open source. If someone really doesn't want ads or wants all of this, they can go purchase their own Firebase account or create their own Firebase account. It doesn't cost anything technically, and do it themselves. That's the full free version. If you don't want that hassle, don't know how to, then you can get it through here. The ads will be turned off. We'll have an on and off switch if you have a pro account. Any other account, we'll see. I'm not going to make them like you're going to probably want the ads, like these sponsors, because they're going to be integrated. I'm not going to make. I don't like annoying stuff. They'll just be integrated. Matey J, either way, I'm looking forward to the future of the app as I use it daily and am downloading the new build now. Thanks for the work you put in. Yes, thank you so much. That means so much. Honestly, that makes my day because I don't think people realize how much time I've put into this. And I'm horrible at updating the Patreon and some other stuff right now. But once I get in, it's like once I released the last version of the Deck Reveal project, I got into a cadence of updating and doing a lot of stuff. I did a pretty good job. The problem is I went and reworked it. I wanted to make sure things were good. Once this re-releases and it's more mainstream, I will be doing more updates. Partially because I will be just doing a lot of bug fixes, and then we'll be doing it, getting into a good cadence of features, bug fixes, features, bug fixes. And so, and I think even for the Patreon and all that, we might even hit, I might even stream once a week doing development on this. If people want to come and see how I do it, kind of inner workings, if we hit a certain goal. But meaning like, yeah, we'll see all about that. So I'm really excited to see how this is. I was a little hesitant to do this as an open source project, but the more and more I'm doing, like, excuse me, getting there, the more and more I'm excited that this is going to be open source. So, more or less. Okay, I'll see you guys over. I'm going to take a 2-3 minute break, and I'll see you over at Twitch. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching and enjoying this. I'm sorry that we started about 15-20 minutes late, but you know what? It was still a great show, and it's always great seeing you guys. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for all the well wishes, all the questions, everything. I've loved every minute of this, and I love to do this every week. I like doing this type of stuff, so thank you guys so much. Peace out. Later. Make sure to like, subscribe, bash that bell.